what will happen. I mean, it's possible that this will turn out to have very modest effects. These events will turn out to be very, very modest effects on the economy, in which case
Le están insistiendo porque en el comunicado ha puesto el tema de la inseguridad, de cómo se estaba viendo o cómo, por qué en el statement de la Reserva Federal han puesto que había una situación de incerteza. Y entonces le están presionando sobre esa frase y entonces si en ese contexto hay una situación de inseguridad alrededor de que pueda suceder, ¿por qué seguir dificultando, haciendo el tightening de las condiciones financieras, endureciéndolas? Le sigue insistiendo el periodista de CNBC.
No, I mean, with our monetary policy, we're really focused on macroeconomic outcomes. In particular, we're focused on this potential credit tightening and what can that produce in the way of tighter credit conditions. I think when we think about the situation in the banks, we're focused on our financial stability tools, in particular our lending facilities, the discount window, and also the new facility.
Nick?
O estaba diciendo Powell en esa respuesta, pregunta el Wall Street Journal ahora, sobre que en principio se pueda llegar a pensar incluso en que la tensión bancaria puede ser equivalente a una subida de tipos de interés. Está mandando mensajes contradictorios alrededor de la cantidad de feeling, ¿no?, que tiene en relación a la crisis bancaria. Ha empezado el discurso con ello, pero va dando una de cal y una de arena, una de cal y una de arena, poniendo el foco en inflación, caminando luego hacia la crisis financiera y que esta no debe ser un problema, pero vuelve enseguida a la inflación y deja otra vez el camino abierto a que sí hay preocupación en la Fed con la estabilidad, como no podría ser de otra manera, el sistema financiero. Seguimos escuchando a Powell.
The people who write the minutes will be very carefully counting, but I'll tell you what I heard. What I heard was a significant number of people saying that they anticipated there would be some tightening of credit conditions, and that would really have the same effects as our policies do, and that therefore they were including that in their assessment, and that if that turned out not to be the case, that in principle you'd need more rate hikes. So some people did reflect that in their SEP forecasts. I think there may also just have been, remember, this is 12 days ago. You know, we're trying to assess something that just is so recent, and it's people, you know, it's very difficult. There's so much uncertainty. So December was a good place to start, and we wound up with very similar outcomes for December. And you know, in a way, the data in the first part, the first 5 weeks of the intermediate period, pointed to stronger inflation and a stronger labor market, so that pointed to higher rates. And then this latter part, kind of the possibility of credit conditions tightening, really offset that effectively.
To follow up, have you considered at all whether your primary tool, the funds rate, is going to be enough to sustain the kind of tighter financial conditions that you believe will be necessary without doing significant damage to the banking sector? Have you, for example, considered changing reserve requirements, selling assets out of the system?
Le está preguntando hasta qué punto ese movimiento de subida de tipos de interés daña al sector financiero, hasta qué punto han considerado que esta nueva subida de tipos de interés va a dificultar las condiciones financieras, va a perjudicar directamente a los pequeños bancos y medianos. Escúchenle.
No, we think our monetary policy tool works, and we think, you know, many banks, our rate hikes were well telegraphed to the market, and many banks have managed to handle them.
Victoria.
Está marcando un mensaje muy parecido al Banco Central Europeo. Tenemos una serie de herramientas que van alrededor de evitar una crisis financiera, se llama liquidez. Tenemos otra herramienta que va a luchar contra la inflación. Vamos a jugar con las dos. Rebajemos la inflación con la subida de tipos, metamos liquidez, la que sea necesaria para que el sistema no se caiga como un azucarillo. De tal manera que Powell sigue el mismo mensaje que Lagarde. Tenemos dos herramientas ahora mismo claves. Liquidez, subida de tipos. Seguimos escuchando a Powell.
Contagion to other banks and to the financial markets more broadly. That was the issue.
Okay, and then can you also, just to follow up, can you speak to the role that you will be playing in the Fed's internal investigation on its supervision and regulation?
So Vice Chair Barr is of course leading that review, and he's responsible for it in his capacity as Vice Chair for Supervision. I realized, you know, right away that there was going to be a need for a review. I mean, the question we were all asking ourselves over that first weekend was, how did this happen? And so what we did was early Monday morning, we sat down and said, let's do this, and he was obviously going to lead it in his capacity. So I don't, my role was to announce it, and I get briefed on it, but I'm not involved in the work of it.
Howard?
Hi, Chair Powell. Howard Schneider from Reuters. So I want to go back to your February press conference. You mentioned the word disinflation, I believe, 9 or 10 times, a process that you felt was, I forget the word you used, but gratefully underway or something like that. Is disinflation still occurring in the U.S. today?
Yes, I mean, what actually happened, Howard, was I got the question 12 times, so maybe it's a feature, not a bug, but yeah, absolutely the same. The story is intact. So it's really three parts, right? Goods inflation's been coming down now for 6 months. It's proceeding more slowly than we would have liked, but it's certainly proceeding. Housing services is really a matter of time passing. We continue to see the new leases being signed at much lower levels of inflation. So that's 44% of the core PCE index, where you've got a story that's ongoing. Where we didn't have in February, and we still don't have now, is a sign of progress in the non-housing services sector, and that is, that's just something that will have to come through.
Es una acción coordinada de sensación de que los tipos de interés van a ir más arriba. Kazaks, del Banco Central Europeo, ¿qué pintaba este ahora mismo en este movimiento de decir qué va a hacer el Banco Central Europeo? Acaba de aparecer en escena para decir que en cuanto los problemas financieros se ralenticen un poco, se marchen un poco de la fotografía, serán necesarios más movimientos de subidas de tipos de interés en Europa. Kazaks aparece de repente en la escena de Powell, en el que es el gran protagonista, para decir desde Europa también queremos seguir con el movimiento de subida de tipos. Ha querido levantar la mano Kazaks para decir ojo, porque aquí en cuanto empiece a ralentizarse un poquito el movimiento financiero, el problema financiero, el movimiento de subida de tipos tiene que volver. Desde el otro lado del Atlántico, lanzándole piedras económicas, entiéndanme, alrededor de también la decisión de Powell. ¿Para qué? Para fortalecer al euro, en un momento en el que Powell, como están viendo en pantalla, nos está insistiendo en que la desinflación ya está ocurriendo en Estados Unidos. Más Powell.
But we think it's potentially quite real.